birds. It takes all kinds to survive in habitats the world over. From pole to pole and all the spaces in between, birds have range. How do they thrive in such different environments? It's their genius of versatility. In the way they dress, the way they move, the way they sing. For birds, variety is not only the spice of life, it's the reason for life. This is the planet of the birds. They are the nomads of the sky, following ancient routes that bring them to feed and breed. Extraordinary feats of flight, combined with unmatched navigational skills, take birds to the farthest reaches. Some chasing the seasons. Winter. A tough time for some birds to find food. Record snowfall along the banks gives deep cover for animals like the vole. They can easily burrow down in the snowpack to nest and forage for food, unseen by eagles above. But some raptors use more than eyes to find prey. At almost 160 feet away, this great gray owl may seem an unlikely threat. But if he listens carefully, he may actually hear the pitter-patter of little feet, no matter how deep the snow. All winter long, great gray owls hunt along the shores using little more than acute hearing to hone in on their prey. Their unique feathers muffle flapping, so they fly in total silence. More stealth than a stealth bomber. If prey isn't safe under the snow, perhaps the ice. The river's seasonal changes sometimes come as a surprise to ducks and coots. Ice floes have surrounded a flock. With a runway this frozen over, takeoff for these coots is nearly impossible. So they huddle together in tight rafts for safety in numbers. But this is a situation not wasted on a hungry eagle. Today's special, sitting duck. A perfect execution. But things go wrong. Eagles fill the sky. They're not here to hunt. But to steal. He's intimidated and the coot escapes. But not for long. The battle isn't over. Our proud hunter is determined to win it back. And he does. Here, it's every bird for himself. But one way to avoid conflict is to own your strategy. On the other side of the world, the dry season tightens its grip on Gorongosa, Africa. The river levels drop to only a few inches, and small fish rocket from the water, pursued by ravenous catfish. But their acrobatic escape acts only buy them little time, for the skies darken above them. Thousands of storks, cranes, and pelicans arrive for the annual feast. Each uses different technique to get the job done. Some stab and impale. Some trawl. Some hunt in packs. Fights do arise, but mostly it's just jealous eyes focused on the African fish eagle. Of all the fishing techniques on display here, none is more impressive than this aerial ambush. First, the fish eagle gets rid of the competition before the hunt. Rivals spar in midair. The victor wins fishing rights to a buffet. The fish eagle is part of that elite group of flyers, birds of prey, and raptors. Bursts of speed, stealthy attacks, and their keen eyesight make them the perfect hunters. And some of the deadliest things on wings. The unbroken landscape of the Asian steppe looks quite colorful to a golden eagle. Some raptors see into the ultraviolet part of the spectrum, which is invisible to us. Urine trails left by his favorite prey glow under the sun's UV rays. Mongolian marmots are easy for him to spot, but the fat rodents have finely tuned defenses. They're on the alert for the beat of wings above. And their air defense system sets off an alarm. This one makes a run for her burrow. Marmots stay underground for hours. They're masters of patience. But two can play that game. While he waits, he settles on some scraps. A sudden storm blasts the steppe, and it washes away the urine trails. The eagle is thwarted, still hungry and grounded until his wing feathers dry. For most winged predators, grasslands stretch below them like vast banquets. Yet, the strange secretary bird chooses to hunt keeping its feet on the ground, sometimes stalking 20 miles a day. She may look feather-brained, but she's a skilled assassin with a wicked arsenal. Her powerful legs target reptiles and rodents. She's 4 foot, with an eagle's body on powerful stilts. Tough scales on her legs protect her from snake bites. Her wings also fend off snakes and fluster prey. Then, with her dreadful legs and talons, she stomps her victims to death. This formidable hunter is the only bird in the world that hunts this way. At the southernmost tip of Texas, there's another bird that also makes a killing with some fancy footwork. Only the reddish egret does it with a hop. It looks like shameless exhibitionism. But his frenetic moves are the key to his clever hunting strategy. His unpredictable gyrations disturb the fish. His wings create a shady spot that draws the fish in. It looks crazy, but it works. Birds live in nearly every kind of environment on the planet. They've adapted to each place with extraordinary quirks and characters. In the New World forests, a bird evolved to fly like an insect. It's all about the hover. Hummingbirds flap their wings around 50 times a second, allowing them to feed in place. It's like treading water, but in midair and at high speed. Takes a lot of energy. If they don't consume double their body weight in calories every day, they won't survive. Which is why, as a massive storm approaches, this hummer doesn't stop. Most birds take cover in rain, but hummers do the opposite. Cooler temperatures increase their metabolic rate, and every drop of nectar is a matter of life or death. As the storm clears, another male horns in on his territory. He defends it with all he's got. Success. A good flower is worth fighting for. Not just for food, but for love. Nectar is a girl's best friend. The gift of a flower will make him very popular with the ladies. Exchange of gifts is an important part of bird courtship. Usually, it's food, but sometimes it's purely decorative. Gannets mate for life, so they better get it right from the beginning. Gannet breeding season is in full swing. Some birds are here to find a mate. while others are already busy being parents. From newly hatched chicks to newly fledged fluffballs. The colony is raucous with the sounds of new life. One gannet lands on the outskirts of the colony. At 4 years old, he's going through a rite of passage. His flight back to his birthplace to find his first mate. He's just arrived from winter holiday in Australia, and he's a bit late to the party. With no nest or partner, he has a lot of catching up to do. He observes a curious ritual: seaweed as a gift. Seems to be a kind of foreplay. Might as well give it a go. He finds a piece of unclaimed seaweed and drops it in front of a female. She shows only a flicker of interest. And then the moment passes. Awkward. When it comes to birds, Awkward finds many styles. The kakapo being perhaps the most expressive. The heaviest parrot in the world, the nearly 9-pound kakapo has to choose his branches carefully. This freak of the parrot family is not obese. He's in his prime. But his wings aren't strong enough to lift him, so he can't fly. Like so many others in this world of walking birds, the kakapo has to hike for what he wants. It's midnight, and he arrives at the top of a hill and chooses a site where he makes himself comfortable in what is called a bowl. He is a newcomer to the kakapo mating ritual, where each male must display his worth all night long to attract a mate. First, he sucks in air, inflating himself like a balloon. Then he begins his serenade. This low-frequency boom can be heard just over 3 miles away. Then he adds in a blast of perfume for good measure. All this noise and smell would surely attract stealthy nighttime predators. But the kakapo shows no sign of fear in the dark. It's working. A female draws close. He then changes his song to high-pitched squeaks, known as chings. They're supposed to produce irresistible close-range vibes. He waits. He's young and inexperienced, and doesn't know which techniques work and which don't. It appears tonight's efforts don't. As dawn approaches, the young Romeo returns home alone. While guys are singing throughout the bird world, there's another group that relies on visual attraction. The most fashionable of them all, India's national bird, the peacock. He's up for shaking a little tail feather. And it seems to be working. A peahen comes to check him out. She is looking for the most impressive tail and flamboyant display, both unfakeable proof of the bird's strength and genetic vigor. A far-off peacock call warns of a predator, and his flashy feathers are put away for the next chance encounter. Throughout the bird world, females have high standards and often need more than just fancy feathers. What's left for a guy to do? But dance. In Brazil's Amazon rainforest, colorful blue mannequin males have been practicing their dance routine. Now, they're putting it to the test. A female has arrived. The males quickly assemble. There is a strict hierarchy amongst the mannequins, and the alpha male is often the oldest bird. Only he has a chance of mating. The others are just the support act. So why do they dance when they have little prospect of mating? It's the female who calls the shots. She won't mate with a lone dancer. Apparently, she likes a crowd. So, every male must join a group and wait his turn. It may take as long as 10 years to become top bird. And in that time, a male will have danced for thousands upon thousands of exhausting hours. The alpha male calls an end to the display. The others bow, and he goes to the mating perch. This female is not impressed. Obviously, more practice is required. Back to the training ground. It's springtime in the United States. And the male sage grouse has just one thing on his mind. No additional training needed here. This guy's got the goods. Early morning finds him literally strutting his stuff. The way to a grouse woman's heart is through her eyes and her ears. Males are uniquely endowed. These are inflatable sacs. They begin with a whistle, then suck the air in and force it out. The bigger the sacs, the louder the pop. Surprisingly, she seems underwhelmed. But love favors the persistent. Eventually, he gets the girl. With love in the air, they slip behind a bush and get busy. And when the honeymoon ends, the real work begins. Here, off the coast of South America, up and down the shores, nests are being tended to, bonds renewed, and eggs laid. For the next 2 months, the couple has only one goal: to keep the egg alive. But someone else has his eye on the eggs, too. Johnny Rook, otherwise known as the striated caracara, has waded through a brutal winter for this bounty. An egg tumbled from a nest is fair game for Johnny Rook. He'll soon have his own clamoring brood to look after. Already, the albatross chicks are hatching in staggering numbers. Downy and demanding. With unending patience, the new mother waits for her mate to return from his foraging, until near starvation, if she must. He, meanwhile, may be covering thousands of miles on the wing, simply to find food for his brood. He returns, heavy with seafood. After a brief greeting, they transfer parental responsibilities. He fills the chick's belly. And the family is content. But Johnny Rook is hungry too. Sometimes a parent never returns from the sea. And the raptor executes his cruel mercy. But raptors have families to feed as well. This adolescent bald eagle works its way along the river bluffs in North America, riding the thermals and updrafts. And finds something worth investigating. These peregrine nestlings are exposed and vulnerable. Their mother is out hunting, but hasn't gone too far. She's on to this one. Gaping beaks demand up to a dozen corpses a day. She returns with songbirds. It's a tough job. She's got to make sure her chicks eat and are not eaten. Today, she pulls it off. But when it comes to parental pair work, there are no tougher parents than the emperor penguins. Every breeding season, for millions of years, this is what they must contend with. Bringing up baby in one of the harshest environments on the planet. Antarctica in winter takes guts. And a lot of feathers. These wings and torpedo-shaped bodies don't allow them to fly. Over many months, both parents will come close to paying the ultimate price in order to provide enough for their offspring. It is continuous feeding, feeding, feeding. Mom and Dad must rotate fishing expeditions until their babies are old enough to fend for themselves. A snowstorm puts fishing on hold. This time, Mom and Dad let their chick weather it out on his own. A valuable lesson. It's nearly time for all of them to march to the sea. And Junior needs to put some muscles and flexibility into those wings. Soon, they will propel him through the water as he learns to hunt for food on his own. Underneath the downy surface, adult feathers are growing and arranging themselves for life in the water. The kids don't know it yet, but the adults are pretty much finished. They've done their job. Drawn to the sea, the chicks keep on trucking toward this forbidden zone. The water. But it's not easy to tell if you're going the right way. There it is. The dark, mysterious place where Mom and Dad get all that food. Somehow, instinct tells these chicks their destiny lies in the ocean. But right now, it's a terrifying prospect. There go the adults. Thanks for everything. Once the chicks jump in, they'll head out in the direction of New Zealand, then catch a current towards South America. They will spend the next 3 years or so maturing and waiting their turn for those hard months on the ice. Finally, instinct wins out over fear. Sometimes there's nothing to do but go for it. It's a big leap into the unknown. And fortune favors the bold. These wings sure are great in the water. But sometimes, you just can't help wishing you could fly.